Hi all, so today we're going to be talking about the M1919A6. It's an MMG available for free in Battlefield 5, and it's a pretty solid weapon overall. It's really good at holding lines or suppressing, and that's about all it's really good at. On the offensive, it's terrible, because since it's an MMG, it suffers from MMG traits, and it has relatively low damage output on the whole. It's only 600 RPM, and it only hits for 25 damage within its closest range. And because of this low damage output, you will struggle to win head-on engagements. Especially if you're not mounted on the bipod, because it is an MMG, and if you're not mounted on the bipod, you will not be able to scope in. This can be boosted up to 670 RPM from 600 if you take the left side of the specialization tree, but I wouldn't really do that. I personally run left, right, left on my tree, because since the M1919A6 is set up as a defensive weapon, I figure it's best to set it up for accuracy and sustain, because that's really what it shines at. It's got a massive 250 round magazine, and it's got a quick reload too at 4.45 seconds, so you don't need to worry about taking reload speed on the left side of the tree. Going right in the middle gives you more accuracy and more recoil, and if you take chrome lining, you get 80 bullets pretty much before you overheat. So if you need to suppress a lane, you've got 80 bullets to hold it down, which is just really nice. So as mentioned before, the damage output of the gun is pretty bad. The drop-off isn't horrible. It runs 25 damage to 10 meters, drops to 20 until 30 meters, and then it falls to 15 damage at 75 meters. What this really means is that overall you can expect a 5 to 6 shot kill in most situations, except for extreme close range where you'll get 4, and extreme long range where you'll get 7. The muzzle velocity is pretty good, it's 800 meters a second, bumped up to 910 if you run high velocity ammunition. So it's pretty accurate at range, especially with its easy recoil control. The time to kill is still slow, even in the mid-ranges, just given its low fire rate, but because you're usually mounted at some spot and you've usually got cover, and enemies don't particularly pre-aim for your positioning if you're positioned well, so the damage output isn't that bad relatively. It is low, but because of the way you play the M1919, it's not killer by any means. Besides, you have 250 rounds in the magazine. If you miss, it's not the end of the world. The main thing that the gun just sucks at is offense, as I mentioned. It's just an MMG, which means it has all the drawbacks of being an MMG, because if you're not bipoded somewhere, you just can't scope in, and the hipfire still kind of sucks. I would say it works best on defensive breakthrough rounds, because you're going to be defending a lot in those modes, so you can kind of just anchor down in some nice position and just farm. Or if you're holding down an objective in Conquest, it works fairly well as well. If you're trying to attack, you're going to die. You kind of need to slowly crawl towards someone in prone if you want to actually play on offensive M1919A6, and, well, good luck with that. It's not like some of the other MMGs where you can kind of brute force them in offense, because you just don't have enough damage output or good enough hipfire accuracy to brute force offensive plays. On the whole, it's a nice gun. It does suffer from the same issues as every other MMG in that it's an MMG, but if I'm trying to defend an objective, it's my favorite gun, by far. Having such control and recoil in the M1919 makes it perfect for holding down lanes. If you need to just sit your ass at a point, prone or bipod up on something and just hold the lane, it is perfect, thanks to its pretty much non-existent recoil and clean accuracy. It's super convenient in that regard. And, because you're a support, you will never run out of ammo. And you can even help your teammate. So, since you're not an assault or recon nerd, you can help your team. Yippee! The assignments for it are pretty easy, if you're going for them. If you're not, doesn't really matter, but the assignments are fairly easy on the whole. I have no complaints about it. It does what it needs to do. Sure, I wish it had a bit more output in terms of damage, but if it did, you know, it fills a niche as a defensive MMG that can hold points, and it does that fairly well. So, I would recommend, if you're starting out a support, it's probably not the best weapon overall. But if you need a defensive option, even as a new player, it's still really good even without any specializations unlocked on it. So if you need to defend a point, absolutely I recommend it more than pretty much every other MMG in the game. Unless you really need a high DPS, in which case you're better off running something like an MG42 or an S2200 or something. But if you just need to sustain a lane, absolutely the Browning is the way to go. So that's it. It's a good gun. It really is just a good gun. So the next review will probably be either the Selbstadler 1916 or the STG-44. I haven't decided yet. I've been playing Battlefield a lot lately, so I wanted to review my favorite gun in the game. Sue me. So, thanks all. Have a good day.